Hi and welcome to Ida and her books. I'm Ida and these are my books. I have a cold, but I need to record today anyway because otherwise I won't be getting a video up this Saturday. So bear with me. This is my autumn wrap-up and I will be going through the books that I've read and listened to during September, October and November. Let's start from the beginning. The first book I finished this season was a graphic novel called Saltire, Immortal Guardian by John Ferguson, Claire Rowe and Lauren Knight. It is a graphic novel about this blue dude who is sort of a protector, a god that protects the clans, I think, up in northern Great Britain. The book is 3 chapters and each chapter is its own story. It's about some kind of war or conflict. I gave this 3 stars. The art is beautiful and I really enjoyed reading it for that reason. The stories were a little bit incomprehensive and I had a hard time understanding what was going on, but I still really enjoyed reading it. I haven't decided if I'm gonna keep this or not because I don't keep books, I don't plan on rereading, but it was really pretty, so I might keep it. I kept it so far, so we'll see. Also, my comic shelf is not yet full, so it doesn't really matter so far if I keep this one. Next book I read was Mörkersikt by Johannes Källström. This is a Swedish anthology with horror stories and I really had high hopes for this and it was terrible. I read the first story, which was completely predictable, and I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy the characters. They were completely unlikable. I just didn't like it. And then I started reading the second one. Once again, the characters were unlikable. It was just, I just didn't like it. And then I skimmed through like the beginning of the rest of the stories, and only 1 out of 6 stories was about a woman, and the entire first paragraph was just her looking in the mirror describing how incredibly hot she is. And by that point I was like, I'm not gonna finish this book. It's not gonna happen. So I DNF'd this after about 100 pages. Next book I read was the Dödas book by Paricia Cornwell, which I also DNF'd. I started reading it and it seemed fine for a while. I read 116 pages in this and it was kind of intriguing, but at the same time it was so much stuff around the actual like murder plot that just made me irritated. So, for example, the book starts with the main character getting engaged. It's one of the things that happens, which makes her coworker really upset, and he decides to act like an asshole just because she doesn't like him back because he's in love with her. And her new colleague that she's working with on this case also is attracted to her, and I just... it's like, how... why... I just don't see why that has to be a part of the story. By that point I was like, this is not for me, and so I put it down and I DNF'd this one as well. Next book I read was Hemsökta by Magnus Nordin. It took me 2 nights to read it. I had read like 20 pages or something. And then the next time I picked it up, I went to bed before my partner because he had school to do, so he was up really late. And so I was up really late reading because when things started to get scary, I just couldn't put the book down, because if I did I would have nightmares. So I had to finish it in 1 night. I gave this book 5 stars. I think it's really good. It's really short, but it's really good. And I really enjoy Magnus Nordin's writing. After reading that book, I started my reading vlog when I read the Percy Jackson series. If you want to know my thoughts on these books, you can check out my video. I did both a review and a vlog. I will link them in the description down below. And I gave them the ratings. The first one gave 4 stars, the second 3, the third 4 stars, the fourth 3 stars, and the 5th book I gave 4 stars. Next book I finished was The Haunting of Henry Twist by Rebecca F. John. This book is about a man who loses his wife in a accident, and he's left behind with an infant daughter. And soon after the funeral, he meets a guy named Jack Turner, who he feels inexplicably drawn to. I really enjoyed this book. When I picked it up, I thought, this sounds like a gay love story, but I'm not sure. It could be, but also could not be. And so I started reading it, and I came to a point where I was like, if one of these guys were a girl, it would be a love story. It was obvious it would be a love story. And then it was a love story, so I was very happy. It's about the relationship and about their friends, and yeah, it's about sort of dysfunctional relationships in the post-war era of the 1920s. I enjoyed it so much. I love the writing, I love almost everything about it. It's like, I love the characters, I love the plot, I love the feel, I love the language, so I really enjoyed this one. I was thinking of giving it 4 stars, but then I spent the next like month just continuously thinking about the book, and so I decided it's worth a 4 star. Next, I read another graphic novel, Sheets by Brenna Thummler. I borrowed this from my sister. It's about a girl who runs a laundromat. A ghost shows up and starts wreaking havoc in her laundromat. And I really enjoyed this one. It was a bit weirdly paced, I think. It's like the big climax was a really small part of the story. I did enjoy it. I liked the characters. I think it was very beautifully drawn. I gave this 3 stars. Next book I read is Gamer by Effie Karabuda. This is a Swedish book about gaming, written by a Swedish journalist and gamer. And it's written for gamers, but also like if you're a beginner, so it's not very difficult language. She has interviewed people who work at gaming companies. She's talked to gamers and other people who are part of the gaming community, cosplayers and other things, gamers on YouTube and such. And I really enjoyed it. I think it was a fun perspective because she writes from her own perspective as a girl, as well as the majority of the people she spoke to, if it was a gamer or people who work with gaming or cosplayers and stuff, the majority of the people she spoke to were women. And it's not a look, women can too kind of message, it's just normalizing women being in this community. And it was really good, it was really fun to read, it was very well written, and I enjoyed it very much. I gave it 5 stars. Next book I finished was Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I really enjoyed this one as well. This book takes place in a world where superheroes exist, and after a long period of anarchy, the Renegades were created by a group of superheroes to create order. So they act as police and judge and prime minister and president and all that. It's about a girl who is part of the resistance, the anarchists, and she gets the assignment, or they get the idea that she's gonna infiltrate the Renegades because no one knows who she is. And it also follows a boy who is the son of the main Renegades. He's also part of this team that Nova joins. It is a action-packed story about superheroes and crime fighting and betrayal, and it's a very slow burn love story. Really like the characters. I think they're very likable, most of them, even the so-called bad guys, because you get to find out why they do what they do. They're not just anarchists for anarchy's sake. I really enjoyed this one. I was expecting more from the ending, and so it's not a full 5 stars, it's a 4 star. I do know, however, there's a second book, there's a sequel out now, I think. So I really want to read that too, but this book in itself gets 4 stars. Next book I read is another graphic novel called Who is AC by Hope Larson and Tintin Pandoja? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. This book is about a young girl who gets superpowers, and she goes out to like fight crimes, and then it's a middle grade story, I think. It's really cute, it's really fun. Once again, I think the pacing is a little bit off, but I really enjoyed it as it is, and I gave it 3 stars. The last physical book I read this season was Chainmail by Hiroshi Ishizaki. And this is a book I read before when I was younger, and it had this really crazy plot twist that when I read this when I was younger, I was like, what just happened? And then I made my sister read it, and she agreed that it was completely crazy. And then like over the years, it's just been something like, we just mentioned it like, oh hey, you remember that crazy book? And she'd be like, yeah, it was crazy. And she actually still kept it. It was mine first, but then I didn't want it, so she kept it. And then I found it at her place, and I was like, I need to read that again. And so I did read it again, and it's actually much better than I remember it, because the crazy plot twist isn't as crazy. Yes, it's kind of out of nowhere, but it's not as crazy, because now I understand what they give an explanation how everything happened, and and now I understand it better. I can also see like where the characters are coming from and like how they ended up in the position they are in. It's a book about 4 girls who start writing a story together online. They don't know each other beforehand, as far as they know. They just receive an email that says, "Hi, do you want to start writing a story with me?" And they write a story about a girl who is being stalked by this weird guy, and then one of the girls disappear, and so they think that fiction is becoming a reality, and it's really good actually. So I gave this 4 stars. Last books I read this season were on audiobook, and that is almost all of the Harry Potter books. I am on the Deathly Hallows right now, but I have read 6 of the books on audiobook during these 3 months, and I will do a separate video about the Harry Potter books later when I finished all of them, but all of the Harry Potter books are 5 stars, of course, always 5 stars. And yeah, so look out for a video where I talk specifically about the Harry Potter books. And yeah, that is my wrap up for the September, October, November months. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have you read any of these books? Did you enjoy them? Did you not? Do you think I should try again reading the books I DNF'd? If you have any comments, opinions, anything you want to discuss, please leave a comment down below. If you want to watch more of my videos, please subscribe, stick around. I upload on Saturdays, and yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye!